There was one group that came from China. It was a mix of Christian and not Christian. During the course of just the simple explanation of the gospel, over 20 of that group came to faith in Jesus Christ from a totally non-church background. That goes beyond emotion, that goes right through to a profound change of heart about the person's faith and direction in life. That is not unusual. The reason why I'm here, as opposed to some of the other career paths I've taken, is because people who come to us and say, we met Jesus here. And it's because of the authenticity of the site as a genuine place of spiritual encounter.
There is a difference between a visit and a pilgrimage. A visitor will come to these spaces to see the way things were 2,000 years ago, whereas a pilgrim who comes to pray here will want to see how things are today among ourselves with the risen Lord present among us.
Our mission as the custody of the Holy Land is the keepers of the holy places, but we don't keep them for the sake of keeping them only. Because I know they are important, they are very important, they are the places of Jesus Christ, for God's sake. But it's not only keeping them is our mission. We keep them for another purpose, which is the people, to give them the possibility to worship God within the places of Jesus Christ himself. This is the Grotto of the Nativity down here, and we know that it is the real place where Jesus Christ was born. It's still, for me, the privilege to be at the center of everything, at the service of everybody, and to help them with a Franciscan spirit so as to find God wherever they look for Him, especially here in the Holy Land.
The role that I have now is quite interesting. In a way, it ties together a lot of my life experiences. So I started in construction and then went on to business. From there, I went on to administration within a church structure and eventually here. And this job is a combination of ministry and business. Yep, so it is quite unusual.
Where are you from?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're with the Pennsylvania
Yes.
group. I met some of your group already, but you're all very welcome. The women came to the tomb on the first Easter Sunday morning and were disappointed. They didn't find his body. Instead, they had a vision of an angel saying, he is alive, he's risen, now go and tell. And we would hope that the pilgrims who come here would be equally touched, that it will percolate to the degree that they will be renewed in their faith and renewed in their determination to put their faith into action.
We are here for the service of the people. We are here for the service of Christians, to find the places of Jesus Christ, to worship Jesus Christ within the real places. If you come to the Holy Land as a tourist, we hope that you go back home as a pilgrim. But if you come to the Holy Land as a pilgrim, we hope you go back home as a better pilgrim and maybe a saint one day. So it's very important for us to give you this push so as to find what you're looking for.
There was one group that came from China. It was a mix of Christian and not Christian. During the course of just the simple explanation of the gospel, over 20 of that group came to faith in Jesus Christ from a totally non-church background. That goes beyond emotion, that goes right through to a profound change of heart about the person's faith and direction in life. That is not unusual. You get tours where you can see them. You know, the husband has been dragged here by his wife, who has always wanted to come on a Holy Land tour. He comes on anything to keep the wife happy, and in the course of it, he comes to faith. And that happens over and over again.
If you're here only to visit the stones, you can go to a museum. If you're here to get more and more for your faith and your spirituality, you will be richer. So I think this is the importance of the place for me and for everybody. The message of the place.
That's where we live. The area we're going to be in are our bedrooms. They're along an internal corridor. Because this window is open, his window is open next door, and I don't want to disturb him, and I don't want to disturb the person sleeping on this side. I very seldom get to use these because it's very difficult, or even to play this I have to use headphones. Otherwise, it's disturbing everybody. See, that guy next door, he's up. I hope we didn't disturb him. We can be so busy about all of this that we can forget about the Lord. So we need to take time in our lives, especially as religious, to have time to reflect, to be alone, and not to be so busy that we can't allow ourselves to be touched. It's amazing, just even as I read these things, I'm touched by these again. Sometimes I'm just indifferent, it depends upon whether I've had coffee or not.
One of the things about being in a ministry situation is you can get all sucked into only reading the Bible for what you need to say to other people. I think maintaining my own personal walk with God is primarily important. I try to maintain a daily routine of coffee and reading the scriptures, reading some devotional texts. At the moment I'm using something called the Celtic Daily Prayer.
Do you know what the commandment in the scriptures that's most repeated? Do not be afraid. Yes, it's said so often, do not be afraid. Because we're constantly afraid of circumstances and of God, and he doesn't want us to be afraid. So he has to keep on repeating it. Do not be afraid, I am with you. Fear not, do not worry. But we need to take time to absorb these words sometimes, and we're so busy, that Pope John Paul once said in Ireland in 1979, he said, do not forget the Lord of the work on account of the work of the Lord.
There was a guy called John Wesley, a great hero of the Protestant church in the UK, and he said, I find that I am so busy I cannot get by without 2 hours of prayer a day. To try and exercise Christian ministry without prayer would be trying to, run life on a flat battery. We just wear out, wear down.
The vocation is a gift from God. It's something, a call that you get from God. It's not up to you only to decide if you have the vocation or not. It's up to you if you want to accept it or not. But it's given by God himself.
Why on earth would I want to take up and come over to the Middle East and become a friar? So it took a period of intense discernment and prayer. In the end, it felt to me as if I had to make this decision uniquely on my own and to accept the consequences, whether it would be positive or negative.
You could ask me, how do I know that I have the vocation? How do I know that I have this call? It's a feeling, it's a profound feeling, it's within you, and everything of you knows that you have this call, and God is calling you to do a certain service for a certain mission.
What I hope will be here for until the Lord returns is that clear declaration of Jesus, who he is, why he died, the fact that God raised him to life, and the fact that anyone from any background can engage with him, and in him receive the love of the Father. If we stop doing that, we're failing.